This stream is proudly supported by the Institute's national corporate partners, BlueScope, Dulux, Brickworks, Bondor, Lysart, Fielders, Bosch, Built Environment Channel, NBS, Planned Cover, Architecture Media, and the Queensland major state partner, Hutchinson Builders.
Well, good evening and welcome to the 2021 Darling Downs and West Moreton Regional Architecture Awards. I'm Viv O'Connell and it's my pleasure to be hosting these awards tonight, not only for the Institute's members who are celebrating right now at the Burke & Wells Hotel in Toowoomba, I know it well, hope you're having a great night, but to everyone joining us. Wherever you may be, I hope you enjoy the evening. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of country throughout Queensland and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and community. I would like to acknowledge the Djarowa and Guybil people of the Toowoomba region and Yugarapool people of the West Moreton region. And I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the culture and hopes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across the nation. Well, tonight's awards are part of the Australian Institute of Architects' prestigious National Awards program. Each of the regional commendation recipients announced tonight will progress through to the Queensland State Awards shortlist. Good luck to you all. I'd like to thank the Institute's national corporate partners, including principal partner BlueScope, for their support of the awards program across the country. And I'd also like to give a special thanks to the Queensland chapter major sponsor, Hutchinson Builders, and the local partners this evening, Kehoe Myers Consulting Engineers and Raw Inc. And now to set the scene, I'd like to hand over to the Institute's National President, Alice Hampson.
Awards celebrate professional excellence, but they're also deeply embedded in the profession's concern for the public interest, showcasing what we proffer to individuals, communities, businesses, governments and our shared futures. Spaces and places imbued with greater beauty, amenity and humane qualities perspicuously improve our cities, towns, rural landscapes and most importantly, improve lives. Collectively, the awarded works tonight exhibit the richness, intelligence, visceral qualities, complexity, individuality and the delight of regional architecture. Queensland is a vast place, the world's 6th largest subnational polity. If it were an island, it would be the world's 2nd largest behind Greenland. As an independent nation, it would be amongst the world's 20th largest in geographical area. Bigger than the whole of South Africa, bigger than any US state, bigger than any Canadian province. Its borders could accommodate all of France, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, Austria and Poland. Queensland is staggering not just for its sheer size, but for its decentralisation, the only mainland state where over half the population live outside the capital. It boasts 1/3 of Australia's 30 most populous cities, including the largest city located in the northern half of Australia's continental landmass, that's Townsville, and Australia's largest inland city apart from Canberra, that's Toowoomba. It includes the 2 largest tropical cities in Australia, Townsville and Cairns, each of them outsizing their nearest rival, Darwin. The state's capital and its largest city, Brisbane, is located in the lower extreme right-hand corner. Other state capitals tend to be situated roughly at the midpoint of their state's maritime edges, but Brisbane is situated within the first 100 kilometres of a coastline which stretches for another staggering 6,300 kilometres. Brisbane is closer to Canberra than Townsville, closer to Melbourne than Cairns, closer to Adelaide than Normanton, closer to Hobart than Thursday Island. These unique features of Queensland's geography combine with an unmatched beauty and diversity of terrain and climate to create an architectural canvas which exists nowhere else in the world. For our Institute's Architecture Awards, Queensland is apportioned into 7 regions: Far North Queensland, North Queensland, Central Queensland, Darling Downs, West Moreton, Gold Coast, Northern Rivers, Sunshine Coast and Brisbane. Queensland's regional awards have been prospering vigorously since inception over 35 years ago and holds the highest reputation within each and every region with architects, industry, governments, media, community, sponsors and clients. I'd like to wish all the entrants every success in tonight's awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. And with a message for all of tonight's entrants, Queensland Chapter President Michael Lavery has sent through this message.
This year, I have a very simple message. I want to thank all of our clients. By making the commitment to work with an architect, you have made yourselves our greatest advocates. I hope you feel like you've already been rewarded by our knowledge and skills in delivering more than you expected. And to our entrants, congratulations in advance. I look forward to seeing all of the awarded projects at the State Awards in June. But for now, let's celebrate the regions.
Thanks, Michael. Well, as Alice mentioned, Queensland covers a vast area and a team of 65 jurors were involved in the Regional Awards judging process this year, visiting every project that was entered. And to tell us a bit about the deliberations across the regions, I'd like to hand over to the Queensland Chair of Juries, Eloise Atkinson.
Thanks, Viv, and thank you everyone for joining us. The role of Chair of Duties this year has certainly been a different experience to 2020. Last year, when I had the pleasure of being Deputy to Richard Colson, we were judging projects on Zoom with all entrants working hard to explain the quality of light and space of their projects while we sat at home trying to imagine. This year, we've had the opportunity to visit projects as far north as Cairns, as far west as Winton, and as you all know, there's no substitute for experiencing architecture. In our conversations with regional juries, there have been a few common themes. Perhaps the most significant is the commitment of doing more with less. Sometimes this has been out of necessity, but even with the projects with the healthy budget, there have been conversations with clients about just building what's needed. We've also seen across all categories the embracing of vegetation and landscape. There have been incredibly lush green environments integrated into commercial, education and public projects, as well as the houses. Perhaps some of this attention on landscape and vegetation is a response to COVID. The rethinking of the relationship between home and work has been amplified, with all residential projects considering the reality of how to accommodate whole households working from home. And perhaps more surprisingly, all commercial projects have been looking at how to bring the pleasures of working at home to the office. The calibre of the 107 projects is impressive. However, the number of projects entered has been slowly decreasing over the last 5 years, which is disappointing. Hopefully this is a reflection on the fact that many of the practices are very busy and haven't had enough time to enter their projects, rather than a trend reflecting the lack of projects being funded, particularly in the public sphere. Every visit has reminded me of the importance of good design and the value that architects can bring, particularly to tricky sites and complex briefs across all project types. The passion to achieve the best outcome for clients and the collegiality among members of the profession has been evident throughout our visits. Our unique awards program only exists because our colleagues are prepared to take time out of their practices and away from their projects to take part in the juries. It is an incredibly rewarding experience, meeting colleagues, discussing design ideas and processes, and having robust deliberations with the jury. But it also does take time. So on behalf of the entrants and the profession, I'd like to thank all of those who put their hands up, some year after year, to take part. And of course, the awards can only happen because our members participate and value the process and opinions of their peers. So can I say thank you to all the architectural practices for taking the time to submit their entries and for meeting with the juries. Good luck to each and every one of you and enjoy the night.
Thanks, Eloise. And now to say a few words and introduce tonight's nominees, I'd like to introduce the Darling Downs and West Moreton Jury Chair, Stephanie Keys, who was joined in the deliberations by Greg Kratzman and Harm Hollander. Over to you, Stephanie.
Hello. In March this year, I had the privilege, along with fellow jury members Greg Kratzman and Harm Hollander, of visiting the projects nominated in our region. As usual, we were treated to an impressive range of buildings that reflected architectural design of the highest order. As panel chair this year, I was particularly impressed by the enthusiasm of each of the owners for their buildings and their pride in presenting the buildings to us. To me, that's a true indicator of the professionalism of each and every architect involved, who'd all designed places to meet the unique needs of their clients, exceeding their brief rather than just meeting a brief. If the test of good architecture is whether it changes occupants' lives for the better, then each and every one of these projects has achieved that goal. This was particularly heartening to see in the educational spaces and the workplaces that we visited. It was clear to the jury that the innovative design of each of these architects was contributing to the enhanced learning of students and better productivity in the workplace. So let's take a look at the projects in the Darling Downs and West Moreton region.
111 Campbell Street by Sims White Architects. Edmund Rice Cultural Centre, St Mary's College, Toowoomba by Aspect Architects and Project Managers. Caldwell Performing Arts Centre by Biscoe Wilson Architects. Amaroo Environmental Education Centre, Eco Classroom by Elia Architecture. Currajong Centre for Senior Learning, the Springfield Anglican College by Fulton Trotter Architects. St Peter's Lutheran College Springfield Junior High Precinct by McClellan Bush Architects. Ray White Toowoomba by Feather and Laurie Design. And Roma Hospital Redevelopment by Jacobs. Well, what a great range of projects, and thanks, Stephanie. And now, let's take a look at the regional commendations for Darling Downs and West Moreton, all of whom are going through to the State Awards shortlist. In the category of commercial architecture, the jury have awarded a commendation to 111 Campbell Street by Sims White Architects. This development inspires the further growth of the emerging mixed-use neighbourhood, and its carefully executed simplicity finds a satisfying blend between the vernacular residential character and the local industrial typology. As a pedestrian, walking along the well-connected streetscape and into the lobby generates a certain delight. In the jury's view, this project enhances Toowoomba, and its dialogue back to the streetscape is equally beneficial. In the category of educational architecture, the jury have awarded a commendation to St Peter's Lutheran College Springfield Junior High Precinct by McClellan Bush Architects. The striking circular form of this building is based on the central idea of creating the feeling for users of a yarning circle or meeting place. It builds on a strong school identity, and the vertical orientation of the central atrium with its extensive glazing captures the college's motto, ever higher, within its built form. Purposefully designed to improve educational outcomes, the project features flexible learning spaces, thoughtfully placed student withdrawal spaces, and careful consideration of colour and materials to specifically suit the age of the students. Also in the category of educational architecture, a commendation goes to Currajong Centre for Senior Learning, the Springfield Anglican College by Fulton Trotter Architects. Described by the jury as an inspiring and uplifting place, this building is a critical component of the master plan, following the spine through the campus to arrive at the senior school sub-campus. It is purposely designed to be a transition from secondary school to tertiary education, encouraging more student independence and individual responsibility. And the jury have awarded a commendation for interior architecture to Ray White Toowoomba by Feather and Laurie Design. The footpath level hop-in tenancy within an existing modest commercial building envelope on the main street of Toowoomba yields a quality which commences upon entry. Multiple existing floor level changes and deep dark spaces have been converted into benefits. The new atmosphere is open, hospitable and professional, with a feel of the excitement associated with successful real estate marketing. The openness and framing of view lines to the broader streetscape, including the cathedral across the road, add to the overall quality atmosphere. Congratulations to the commendation recipients. And now for the main award announcement of the night and the highest honour in the Darling Downs West Moreton Regional Architecture Awards, the William Hodgen Award for Building of the Year. And it goes to Currajong Centre for Senior Learning, the Springfield Anglican College, by Fulton Trotter Architects. The jury was unanimous in experiencing the quality of this building as a piece of high-end architecture. The building is very well resolved and serves all of its required functions extremely well. Spaces are functional but also delightful in their use of natural light and ventilation, and they flow from interior to exterior, from formal to informal learning areas. The jury applauds the clarity and discipline that has been obviously adhered to throughout the design process, from initial concept through to detailing and finishes. Congratulations to Fulton Trotter Architects. Well, that brings us to the end of the Darling Downs and West Moreton award announcements. I'd like to thank the jurors once again for all their efforts. Eloise Atkinson, Chair of Juries, Shai Tay, the Deputy Chair of Juries, Stephanie Keys, the Jury Chair for Darling Downs and West Moreton, Greg Kratzman and Harm Hollander. And congratulations again to the award winners tonight and to the shortlisted projects that progress now through to the Queensland State Awards. And we'll be streaming those announcements live with live crosses to the winners on the 24th of June. I'd like to thank the Institute's national corporate partners, including Principal Partner BlueScope and the Queensland Chapter major sponsor Hutchinson Builders. A special thanks too to all the local partners, Kehoe Myers Consulting Engineers and Raw Inc. And just a reminder that you can tune in for the North Queensland Architecture Awards tomorrow night at 7 p.m. To the members watching in Toowoomba right now, I hope the celebrations continue well into the evening. In the meantime, thanks for joining me. It's been a pleasure to be your host. Good night.
This stream is proudly supported by the Institute's national corporate partners, BlueScope, Dulux, Brickworks, Bondor, Lysart, Fielders, Bosch, Built Environment Channel, NBS, Planned Cover, Architecture Media, and the Queensland major state partner, Hutchinson Builders.